Every human being on this planet is in search of happiness. So if happiness is so important to us, then why don't we learn how to be happy in school? The reason why is that society as a whole has some pretty big misconceptions about what it means to be happy. In fact, our societies have passed down from generation to generation the biggest lie ever told. The belief that happiness or unhappiness can be attributed to external causes. We were told to believe that things, people, distractions, events, and experiences can make us happy or unhappy. Since society believes happiness comes from things and events, its focus is on classes that help you get things and events. The reason people study is so that they can have a job, so they can make money, buy a car, buy a house, buy nice clothes, and have a social status. This in turn is supposed to make you happy. However, a common misconception about happiness is that if you have all the things you want and you attain all the goals you desire, then you will be happy. However, the reality is just the opposite. If you start from a place of happiness, you are much more likely to attain your goals and attract abundance. You see, when you are attached to an object, a goal, a dream, or another person, there are feelings that tell you, if I don't have that, I won't be whole. Examples of these feelings are anxiety, fear, anger, jealousy, hopelessness, sadness, disconnection, pride, vanity. When you believe that happiness depends on things or people, you give your power away to those things and people. As soon as you understand that happiness stems from within, you take back your power and take back your life. To help you better understand how happiness comes from within, you must first understand that feeling of happiness comes from two different sources. First, when a problem has been solved, a burden has been lifted, or a fear has disappeared, then you feel happiness. An example would be of someone finding a job and feeling relieved from the fear of not being able to pay his or her bills. Second, when a desire or an ambition has been fulfilled, or when we acquire or receive something we wanted very much, we also feel happiness. An example of this would be when you found out that the person you're in love with is also in love with you. So what happens in those two cases? Why do we feel happiness? We experience happiness when the inner tension that has been accumulating while we were pursuing, waiting, expecting, or desiring is released. When there is no more need to run after the object or person we desire, or when a burden has been released, we feel happy. So it is not the person or the thing itself which makes you happy. Instead, you feel happy because the tension, worry, or burden has disappeared. At this moment, happiness appears from within, together with a sense of inner peace. You see, happiness comes from within, not from outside of yourself. When you feel happy, you don't think, worry, or desire a particular goal, object, event, or circumstances, because you have either accomplished it or got it. So it is that mental relaxation, which stems from within yourself, which creates this feeling of happiness, and not the thing itself, object, or person. The thing is, by choosing to live a life fueled with attachment to things, you inevitably choose to live in a constant state of tension. By removing attachment to these desires, you automatically remove any mental tension which keeps you from perceiving happiness. Attachment is a double-edged sword. One side is positive and the other side is negative. The positive side of it is when you get what you want. At that moment, you feel happiness. However, that feeling of happiness is inevitably followed by a feeling of fear. fear of losing what you just got. The other side of the sword is the negative side, whereas if you don't get what you want, you are unhappy. So let's recap for a moment. You feel anxiety and tension while you are pursuing what you desire. If you don't get what you want, you are unhappy. But if you do get what you want, then you are happy just for a moment, and then negative feelings such as fear of losing what you have arises. This means that if we attach ourselves to a certain situation, we are bound to experience unhappiness sooner or later. In our society, we always say, "You make me so happy," or "This makes me so happy." This is a lie. Only you yourself can make yourself happy. Thousands of people live without what you desire the most and are still happy. Thousands of others have what you mostly desire and are miserable. Now look at your past. How many times have you wanted something and got it? Now try to remember for how long did that person or thing or event make you happy. Chances are you have moved on to a new desire and foolishly believe that only once you get what you want, you will be happy again. How many times have you repeated the same cycle over and over again? Attachment to an outcome as to the how and when a desired outcome will be received is in essence placing focus on the lack of or not having, which creates a resistance to receiving whatever it might be. Detachment, on the other hand, is a powerful tool to get what you want because it removes that energy of lack from your mind. Here are 2 things you can do today to start practicing detachment. First, understand that everything in life is impermanent. Be open and accepting of whatever may come in any moment. Contemplate the idea that everything and everyone around you is impermanent. You yourself, your friends, your family members, your house, nature, and the earth, none of them will last forever. When we become attached, we become terrified of change. Change is a normal aspect of life. Realizing this will help you avoid pain, but it will also help you live in the present moment. Once you understand that everything changes, you're more willing to cherish every moment that goes by because you don't take anything for granted. By letting go of your attachment to the illusion of security, which is really an attachment to the known, you step into the field of all possibilities. This is where you will find true happiness, abundance, and fulfillment. Second, focus on yourself. When we are attached, our thoughts and emotions focus solely on the object of our attachment. If we wish to make a healthy detachment, we should shift our focus from the object of attachment to ourselves. Activities such as meditation or yoga will help you shift the focus inside yourself instead of outside yourself. When you begin living a life that starts with happiness from internal place rather than placing your ability to be happy on external conditions, then you have understood detachment. Remember, it's a practice. Happiness is the journey and not the destination. Or as Wayne Dyer said, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. I wish you peace, love, and light. See you next time.